Hotep family, I'm back. I'm going live this time to revisit some terms that confirm the knowledge and use and practice of science, and not only Kemet, but mostly Kemet, but I will go over some terms that are West African, or Chi, as I should say. So once again, we're going to let people come in. We're going to give this chance to people to come in. And then we're going to start things around the 5-minute mark. So hit the like button, subscribe, share the link, let people know that I'm going live. We're going to learn about Mdu Ntchr language that confirms science in Kemet. So stay tuned and sit tight. Again, we're going to start at the 5-minute mark. So like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you. Siddiq.
Hotep family, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Today we're going to get into Mdu Ntchr language that confirms science in Kemet. If you tuned in last time, we went over two terms. One term was Tep Heseb, and the other was Saya, or Sa. As you can see, we have another one. I added Seba or Saba to that list. Some people pronounce it Saba, but just so you know, Seba or Saba is another term that verifies science as a practice in Kemet. We have Sia. We have Seba, and we have Tep Heseb. The definitions and meanings are underneath the hieroglyph, so take the time to read that. I'm going to first go over Sia and Tep Heseb, and then we're going to go into some additional Mdu Ntchr terms that verify the practice of science in Kemet. So right now we're looking at Sia, sometimes pronounced Sa. Sia is depicted as a man with a hieroglyph of a fringed cloth or a case of reed pens atop of his head. So the deification of Sia is telling you that it is in relation to deep thought and science. As you can see, the hieroglyph, you have 3 variations of the hieroglyph. The common variation is a seated man holding his chin, and that's obviously universal and representative of deep thought, being in contemplation. When you look up the word Sia, it means to be cognizant, to have good perception and cognitive skills. So again, Sia is a scientific term. Just because the Europeans don't say it's a scientific term doesn't mean it's a scientific term. If we look up these definitions to hieroglyphics and they have something pertaining to perception, cognition, deep thinking, then we have to say it's scientific. We don't have to wait for them to tell us what is and what ain't. Again, Sia, or I should say Sia, is one of many Mdu Ntchr terminologies that verify scientific practice. Here it is on the far left. The seated man holding his chin, reflecting deep thought. We're going to recap and revisit Tep Heseb as well. Tep Heseb is going to be on the far right. This is going to be Kaba Kamine's choice of Tep Heseb. Like I said, and as you'll learn, there are many variations of the same concept. When you read and interpret hieroglyphs, you will learn that. So we're going to get back into Tep Heseb. This is right out of Kaba Kamine's book that I went over last time on my last live stream. Tep Heseb is an accurate reckoning by making use of a correct method. That is Tep Heseb. And the key dagger here is correct method. And Tep Heseb is present in papyri, namely the Rhine papyri, the mathematical papyri. So it's telling you it is connected through science based on it being based on it being made use of for the mathematical papyri. And a lot of people are going to say, well, math isn't a science, but we'll get into that. While math isn't a science, there are a lot of direct relationships that science has with math. While math isn't a science, they will tell you that mathematics is a scientific language.
Ntchr, c'est Ntchr.
And their Tep Heseb is again on the right. And this is Kaba Kamine's edition of Tep Heseb. In one edition, you will have a foot in a Tep Heseb hieroglyph. What it's telling you is Tep Heseb is a foundation. That's why you see the word Tep. Tep is a specific foundation, and before you begin your method, you have to have that foundation. Tep is also found as the name of gnomes. Specific gnomes in Kemet have the word Tep. Tep Zepi is an example of that. So again, the word Tep means to be grounded and have foundation.
Come on.
So you also find Tep in many papyri, but Tep Heseb is notably found in the Rhine papyri, or the Rhine papyrus. And then you have Zep Tepi, not Zep Tepi, or Zep Tepi, not Tep Zepi, but Zep Tepi, which means the first time, right? Tep also is associated with time. So a lot of this is associated with time, mathematics, numbers. The next term is going to be Seba. We're going to get into what Seba means. A lot of you are already familiar with Seba, but it slips your mind to bring up the point that Seba is another way to verify the practical use of science in Kemet. Seba is also African. It's just not exclusive to Kemet, because we have Sebas in West Africa. We have Sebas in Africana Studies. We just don't have them in Kemet. So the culture of Kemet is extended out through African culture.
Most people don't reject knowledge, they reject correction. And that is why they remain unchanged. In Kemetic science, Seba means teacher, but not the lecturer, the corrector, refiner, witness. You can study Seba teachings all day long, but without Seba, distortion hides. This is where chaos begins, but not dramatic chaos, subtle chaos. You misinterpret insight, you rationalize impulse, you defend blind spots, you confuse comfort with clarity. And that is disorder without visible noise. And it always feels like growth until something collapses. And here's the illusion. I can teach myself. I don't need correction. I already understand. But ego cannot refine itself. You cannot see what you are protecting. And you cannot correct what you cannot detect. And that is why sacred containers existed, not to control thought, to expose distortion. And temple structure provided Seba because transformation requires friction. Without correction, knowledge becomes opinion, insight becomes ego, and autonomy becomes isolation. So, kindred of the house, if you recognize that you have reached the limit of self-guidance, if you know that insight without correction keeps Most people don't reject knowledge, they reject correction. And that is why they remain unchanged. In Kemetic science, Seba means teacher, but not the lecturer, the corrector, refiner, witness. You can study Seba teachings all day long, but without Seba, distortion hides. This is where chaos begins, but not dramatic chaos, subtle chaos. You misinterpret insight, you rationalize impulse, you defend blind spots, you confuse comfort with clarity. And that is disorder without visible noise. And it always feels like growth until something collapses. And here's the illusion. I can teach myself. I don't need correction. I already understand. But ego cannot refine itself. You cannot see what you are protecting. And you cannot correct what you cannot detect. And that is why sacred containers existed, not to control thought, to expose distortion. And temple structure provided Seba because transformation requires friction. Without correction, knowledge becomes opinion, insight becomes ego, and autonomy becomes isolation. So, kindred of the house, if you recognize that you have reached the limit of self-guidance, if you know that insight without correction keeps looping, and if you feel the calling pressing lower each time you figure it out alone, you already understand the role of Seba. The threshold gives you access. The house gives you refinement. And refinement does not happen in isolation. You already feel it. Chaos without correction repeats. So answer the call. Come home to the house of knowing. And don't just speak about growth. Submit.
All right, and that audio comes from the House of Knowing. That is a YouTube channel that has good information on it in regards to Kemetic knowledge and Kemetic concepts. Again, it's called the House of Knowledge. We're going to go over the importance of Seba. And why it's important. It's important because when we go into these domains, these sectors within the conscious community, everybody wants to know about the information and if it's coming from a scholar. So the Kemetic equivalent for scholar would be Siba, because it's important to know where your information is coming from, if it's correct, and if it isn't correct, can it be corrected? That's the whole concept of Siba, as we just heard. So we know by that definition of Siba that we know we have science, we have practical use of science, scientific methods to correct things, the correct method. Tep wasn't just a method, it was the correct method. Siba isn't just a person, it's a person who corrects and guides. It gives you clarity. You have the wisdom teachings, the wisdom text, the maxims of Ptah-hotep, our guidance, our wisdom teachings. That is another piece of Mdu Ntchr language that verifies scientific practice in Kemet. Scientific practice before colonialism. Siba is the hieroglyphic in the middle. Siba also means star because the stars guide us, whether it becomes a tool for guidance in reference to time, or tools for guidance when it references land navigation. The stars become teachers. This is why Siba also uses the star. Siba, or teacher, also uses the star. It's funny how in African Mdu Ntchr and African concepts in general, two words equal one concept. Two words or more is required to translate Mdu Ntchr or any other African language or term for that matter. So in Siba, you have professor and priest merged into one. You have professor and priest merged into one to mean Siba. Siba does not just mean priest. It means professor. It means intellectual and spiritual guide, a professor, a mentor. It's important to remember these things when people say, oh, Africans didn't know what science was before colonialism. There is no such thing as African science. How is there no such thing as African science when you have a Siba, when you have Sia, when you have Tep, when you have Shishat, when you have Sish, or Sesh, I should say. Sesh and Seshat are two, one being feminine and one being masculine, are scholars. When you look up Sesh, right, it'll translate to scribe. But even if we did want to dumb down Sesh to scribe, that would still be scholarly because record keeping is a part of science. The divination of the baboon and the ibis into Hootie is verification of practicality of science in Kemet. There's more than one or two ways to verify the practicality of science through Kemet. You can definitely verify the practicality of science in Kemet literally as well. Literally through Saya or Sia. Literally through Seba. Literally through Tepsiseb. Literally through Sesh and Seshat. And as has already been explained before, if you don't like to read, the pyramids, the fact that monuments are aligned to celestial bodies is more than enough verification for you to know that science was a routine practice in Kemet. We're going to let the drums play. I'm going to bring up some more visual observation and some more resources so we can learn about these terminologies that verify science. For now, let's let the djembe drums play and I will return.
Thank you. Sedeke.
All right, here we go. This is another version of Seba. As you can see, it's given the definition. It means to teach. So whether the teaching is spiritual or scientific, Seba is encompassing of both. All right, and you see the word Seba again present in the term that is used to encompass a body of instructions. This was used to categorize the maxims of Ptah and other wisdom teachings. Ma'at is also Mdu Ntchr terminology that verifies the practical use of science in Kemet. And yes, I'm saying this because Ma'at is commonly known, universally known at this point, to be associated with mathematics. And I know despite that, people are saying that, well, math isn't science. The problem is that when you look up and you do research on whether math is a science and why it is in such close proximity to science, you find out that mathematics is the language of science. So, when it comes to verifying the practice of science, if we know that a civilization was using an art called mathematics, then we still categorize that as verification that the people who were using math were scientific. Case closed. This is true whether you believe science is a math or not. Whether you agree that math is a science or not, the fact of the matter is that people who were using science and that were practicing science used math. The same authorities that tell you that math is not a science will double back and tell you that mathematics is the language of science. So Ma'at will go in the same list of references to verify that Kemetic people were scientific. So in addition to Sia, Seba, Tep Heseb, Ma'at will go up there. Seshat is another one. Sesh. So far, we got 5 Mdu Ntchr terms that verify science. Here's Mayad again. Here's Saya or Sia. Then we have Seba. Tep Haseb was a very important one. And like I said, I recommend getting, if you haven't already got it, Kaba Kamine's book. It talks about Tep Haseb. Again, Tep Haseb means the correct method. And because we find it in the Rhine Papyri or the Rhine Papyrus, we know that the correct method is pertaining specifically to science. As we can see here, Seshat has the Seba star on top of her head. So I did drop a link in the chat. So if you are able and willing to come up, you can. Meanwhile, as the link's in the chat, I'm going to allow some people to come in and view it. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Let everybody know I'm going live. Hey, Jose, turn your camera off, man.
It's on. It's on. It's on. I don't know why you're not seeing it. It's on.
Nah, off.
No, well, I'm seeing it on the screen. I don't know what's going on in the back channel. They can see me on screen.
Right, but turn it off though.
Oh. I thought you said turn it on, you know.
Yeah, no, turn it off.
Listen.
Hey, what? So, hey, how long have you been watching?
I just came on, so I missed about a half an hour of your presentation. What I'm gonna do to promote the platform, I'm gonna replay it later and just let it play out.
All right.
And let them subscribe.
Hey, you got anything you want to add about the three terms you see on the screen?
Well, only to let people know that the term saber could literally mean star as well.
Right, definitely.
It's found in Duat. It's found in Saber. It's found in Sebait. As well, it's also found in Door as well. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, correct me there, because you seem to know more.
Correct.
Right. So.
Yeah. Hey. Yep. Right. And you see how they all connect though, so you can get the concept of teacher in there because the stars guide you, and then the door gets you through another opportunity. It's like it's the way our ancestors put this language together. It's just too easy.
Yeah, Sia means an extremely wise or learned person.
Right, definitely. You familiar with the term Obinfo, right?
I can't say so. I'm self-taught. You seem to have taken courses, so maybe you can explain it better to me.
So Obinfo is chief for the learned one.
All right. Okay. So, but you're on the right track, man. Don't let them discourage you, you know.
No doubt.
You're doing the right thing. But also, that term is also found in Ptah Hotep, Semite as well.
Right. The maxims of, are you talking about the maxims of Ptah Hotep?
Yes, where he talks about teaching his son.
Yeah.
Where he talks about making the ignorant to know. He uses that term.
Definitely. Definitely.
And we know that it has to do with the head of something because of the head on, because of the face on top of it.
Right.
You know, it's talking about being ahead of something, being on top of something, if you will.
Right.
Right. So you're on the right track.
Are you familiar with Sia or Sa?
Yeah, it means like an extremely learned person.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you said that earlier.
I don't know if it's coincidence, but it looks a lot like the Kemetic. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not.
Yeah, you notice how the when you go to the man part of the symbol, he's holding his chin.
Yes.
As if he's thinking, pondering about things.
Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
It looks like we've been robbed.
Right, definitely.
And I don't even want to be disrespectful because the Greeks did give credit initially. So I don't want to say they just took some and didn't say where it came from.
Right. I think the problem is the documentation that gives us praise is being hidden because remember, they don't go over this in school. We got to go back and find out that they had documentation that gave us all types of praise.
But this is the school right here.
Right. Yeah.
And you are indeed the saber. Correct?
Correct.
Right. So this is what you have to continue to do. Do not let people discourage you. Do what you need to do and keep moving forward. Because you're young. I got into this recently. So since you're young, I'm assuming you're probably in your 20s, maybe, right?
Nah, I think we're the same age. How old did you say you were?
48.
Okay, yeah, we're around that same age, man.
Well, it seems like you've been studying this longer than me, so.
When did you start?
Maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago, really.
Okay.
To get to the language, but I'm a self-taught guy. You did the right thing and took courses, it seems.
Are you following anybody right now?
In terms of what?
Are you taking any courses? Are you following behind a teacher?
Because I'm not.
Yeah, you don't have to.
I'm not in the States, so I don't have access to those things in that way. So I'm sort of. I read 2 grammar books, and I basically learned how to read all of the sort of Pharaonic spelling, pretty much typical spelling. I could recognize them.
Okay. Are you familiar with Mdu Ntchr and
Yes.
What else? BB Toomey is a great one too as well.
I heard the name, but I've never seen his work, and I'm not familiar with the face. But the
Okay.
name sounds very familiar. I read Ankh Mirage Grammar book, and I read gosh, I forget the other one. I forget his name. Yes, he's very controversial in the community.
Milana Karinga.
No. What's his? Muata Ashby.
Okay.
A lot of the
I don't know
elders,
why is he so controversial? What's the problem with him?
because I think a lot of his teachings, the elders don't necessarily agree with his interpretation of the dreams.
Okay, because he's got a lot of good books. He's got a lot of him and his wife actually have a lot of good scholarship.
See, but he's more on the spiritual side, and I think that's where he runs into trouble sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of us in the conscious sector, we have a problem with linking history and spirituality together.
But I've seen some of his works, and I think to me some of it doesn't. To me, some of it is his interpretation. To me,
Okay.
and I'm okay with that because he's obviously been doing it in a long time. But he's definitely more
Right.
on the spiritual side as opposed to. I think I could be wrong. But
Right.
he seems to be more on the spiritual side, which you run into problems with a lot of the elders like Baba Bonachi, who wouldn't necessarily agree with him. But that's not my place to do that. I understand where he's coming from. And he's the one that taught me how to read those more monumental stuff, the more pharaonic stuff. He has a whole book on that, and it's difficult to read. So but if you could take a course, because I'm the king of no-nos. I did everything they tell you not to do in learning Mdu Ntchr, and somehow I managed to learn something.
Yeah, right. I mean, I really don't go by guidelines like that when people say don't do this, don't do that. The only thing is to learn because you gotta remember that you have the burden of piecing your history together. So you have to take some things. You can't just have a strict path on the goal and on the end goal.
And your own interpretation is okay because I think the language definitely allows for that to occur.
Right. The reason because is you have a lot of English words that have to come into play when you interpret and translate in African words. So yeah, it is a lot of it has to be up into interpretation, but within reason though.
Yeah, but a lot of these terms don't really match up to English, especially when you get into terms for the spirit and the soul. Some of them just don't really don't translate into English. There's no concept of some of these things in the English language. They don't exist. So they just throw in. Sometimes they just throw in words, and the scholars tend to take a lot of. They put a lot of sauce on their translation, especially the TLA. So I was advised when I'm dealing with the TLA, go into J session, actually UK to do it for myself, which is what I did. I have a 14 slide presentation on that.
Who did you whose platform did you do that presentation on?
I did it on the English platform initially, but I didn't like the way it looked. So I threw that one away, and I did a 14-page one with an abstract and a couple of quotes.
Okay, but you didn't present it on a. Oh, you didn't do it on a platform yet?
No, I did, but I didn't have my tablet at the time, so it didn't turn out as well as I would have. Now I have access to a laptop, so I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna present it on my platform because I have two, and then I'm gonna go back and make the rounds on other platforms that will allow me to do the presentation. It's on Chem and Kemetic.
What date you doing this on?
I don't know. I'm still working on it now. So once I drop it on my platform, I'll let you know. And then to make it easy for me, I could just go on it and sort of promote my platform and do the presentation at the same time.
Gotcha.
Pretty much done. I'm just translating it from Google Slides onto a PowerPoint presentation, so I can make it look a little more presentable.
Got you.
Done.
All right, man.
Just translate it over. So
nice.
When I get it done, we'll link up and we'll definitely do something. We'll see what the reaction is.
I got you.
If we can get a little controversy going, I can put it on my platform. Because I have one fight over Canada. I'm trying to get a little controversy going on that one. So I'll put it out to see if anybody wants to have a conversation about it, and then we could probably do streaming on both platforms.
All right.
So that'd be something good to do, and you could definitely probably help me with the Mdu Ntchr, going through the Mdu Ntchr.
All right. You are okay. That's good. So yeah, just let me know the date, what the date is, and then because I'm gonna be like keeping eyes out for that. Definitely, I'm probably gonna do my own presentation about something here soon.
Yeah, I think that'd be good because they like to put this black land thing, and the glyphs don't say anything about that area.
Right.
And it didn't become a place name until the 12th dynasty. The first occurrence of it is not even a place name.
Right.
And that was way in the 5th dynasty. The first occurrence, I believe, is in the Eloquent Peasant as a place name, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Are you planning on debating in the near future?
Well, they want me to do debating so badly, but I don't like the aggressive culture. So, but if I do, it would definitely be on Worldview, which is DMG's platform.
Okay, I get that because it's a little bit more order. Yeah, I hear you on that.
Well, I sort of promised him if I would do a debate, he has to get first crack at the debate.
Okay.
So
I got you on that, man.
In the near future, it don't look so. It don't look so because I don't play them type of aggressive games.
All right. It's crazy how like debating is a rap battle. They want to see it as a rap battle now.
Yeah, but
like we on BET or something, 106 in Park.
I think when you're debating, it's supposed to be to teach somebody something, someone should learn something. Facts should count, but apparently it doesn't always count in debates.
I hear that.
Flair and the charisma sometimes win debates when they really should not.
Yeah.
It should be based on your factual information and how you present your facts.
Right.
But it's not. But it's YouTube, so we don't even really use the proper method of debating on YouTube. To be honest, we don't. It's not an academic debate. It's a YouTube debate, which causes a lot of problems when you're trying to bring forth something.
But the reality is, what's crazy is the reality is you should be able to watch a presentation, 2 presentations, and determine which one is being more truthful. But we make it more trivial. Yeah, we make it more trivial than it needs to be.
I think so. I think it's too much aggression and too much unnecessary ridiculousness when it comes to debate.
Yeah.
And that's not good. That's a problem for me. But what I always do when people have a problem with the text, I say, well, let me come on and present the text, and then you can judge from the text. Because you can't just show the cover of a papyrus and then say there's no science in it when you never read it. You don't know what it says. So therein lies the problem. For me, anyway.
Yeah, and it's levels to it because like a lot of times you don't even have to read the text to know that it's scientific because it's already been done for us, And that's not to say that you don't need to read the text, but if I'm just a layman and I want to prove to another layman that the Kemetic practice science, I don't need to read the text to know that they practice science. I just need to know that it's a mathematical papyrus. You know what I'm saying? It's a papyrus. Right. I went over that earlier. You got other papyrus too that deal with other interdisciplinaries that tell you that they were scientific. Yeah, pretty much with math. Math is controversial because the same people who tell you that math is not a science will tell you that mathematics is the language of science. So you gotta give and take with that. You gotta know when to use it as an oversimplification when you're talking about scientific things, and you gotta know when to say, well, math isn't science. You see what I'm saying? In this conversation, it actually is science because now you're trying to determine whether ancient people used the language that was scientific.
See, but herein lies the problem. They don't read the text to know that the text actually do describe the nature as elements of nature. They don't know that.
Right.
And I didn't really know that until I stumbled across a bunch text, and the text actually says that in it. So
well, here's another one. To be honest with you, you really didn't. If you understood what the word Ntchr mean, you really wouldn't need to read that text.
I feel you, because we know nature definitely is fundamentally dealing with aspects of nature. Even the language is based on aspects of nature. We know that.
Right.
We
And a
see
lot of
that
it
as
is when
well
you're dealing with
represented.
adults, they're playing games. So the common adult would know that if the word Ntchr is associated with nature, then the Ntchr wouldn't be dealing with gods. It would be dealing with aspects of nature. But again, they're playing games because they want you to spell it out for them. You want to be spoon fed.
But you see, when you show them, it says that. What are they going to say now?
Right.
What's the excuse when I show you in a primary text or close to primary
Right.
text that this is what it's saying? Then what's your
Right.
excuse now? What are you going to tell me?
They can always
What's made
say, as
up?
they always do, as they often do, they can always say, "Oh, that's not what it says," because now you
How do
got
they know
people
that?
saying that. Well, meta Ntchr hasn't been translated yet, and I'm
How
not
do
I'm
they
not
know?
taking a side. I'm just saying that that's what they say, which is why I don't even go into meta Ntchr.
But how
Oftentimes, I
do they
just go
know
with
that?
common sense.
How do they know that?
Yeah, I know that you're right. How would they know that? How would they know that? That is
Yeah.
correct.
And they had a man with a whole Mdu Ntchr name saying Mdu Ntchr hasn't been deciphered.
Right,
So how,
exact. That too.
your name is Sarah said. So how can you say it's not been deciphered?
Right.
Because that comes directly from the text. But you see, apparently he was given that name. Young pharaohs. How could you be a young pharaoh and the text is never deciphered? How could you
Right.
tell me? How could you tell me? Have an argument with a man and tell me it's a Kepa beetle, but the Mdu Ntchr hasn't been deciphered? How could you identify glyph and language hasn't been deciphered? That's my question. And
Yeah,
he
they
ended up
clowns,
embarrassing
man.
himself. And he ended up embarrassing himself, you know.
Yeah.
He got frustrated and ran off. So, well, bro, I'm going to let you finish your presentation. When I get done with mine, I'm going to do that on your platform. And later on today, I'm definitely going to go over this and on my platform and promote you.
Gotcha.
All right, so you continue. I'll talk to you later, all right?
All right. Hotel.
Hotel, my brother.
All right, Hotel. We're gonna close out. Again, we're going over Mdu Ntchr language that verifies that science was a practice in Kemet. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll probably be going live again in a couple of days. There's a lot of things to be discussed, a lot of topics to go over. I hope you enjoyed this, learning about Mdu Ntchr terms that are directly related to science. I'm going to close out with the djembe drums, and that's it. Like, share, subscribe. If you catch this after the live stream, feel free to leave a comment. Don't forget about the Cash App. Please donate. The Cash App is on the bottom. So please donate, like, share, subscribe, and we are going to wrap it up.